Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob here coming at you. We were just talking right before I hit the record button, so I figured I would just hit the record and get things going.
Yeah, so we were talking about, so I played Myopia yesterday,
Yep.
and if you've been a long time listener, you know I played there last year. It's probably the most unique, coolest golf course I've ever played. I don't know if it's the nicest conditions. It's probably not, but that's not to say they're bad conditions. It's very, very, very good conditions, but there's also an element of letting that place kind of be a little more natural. So like the fescue grows. There are no cart paths. Like it's an old fucking piece of property. So none of it is like that manufactured, like there's no extra green.
Right.
Like you can tell some of the places will play. It's like they just fire water onto the course. And it's like, you know that they're doing extra just to make sure that it looks good. So Myopia is immaculate from like a realistic sense. Like when they talk about Augusta, they'd be like, oh, they spray paint the grass to make sure it's perfect. And like
yeah.
they get frozen azaleas to make sure that the azaleas are in bloom, because I don't believe they're native to that time of the year. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So it's like that's an example of like going over the top. I mean, that's way over the top. But like, so if I go and play, for example, like the Bay Club, is it the Bay? Maybe it's not the Bay Club. Let me use the Bay Club for example. It's close to the water, so I'm sure water is not really hard for them to get. They will have everything green. Their rough will be green, and it won't be like a lot of like native land, like not a lot of native area.
Right.
Myopia, you get about fucking 3 yards of rough, and then it's fucking native fescue.
Yeah.
And last year, I remember it being like a little bit more cabbagey, like a greenish, purplish kind of like plant, like really fucking thick. But we got a shitload of rain last year. This year was like that thin, wispy stuff that you usually think of.
Oh yeah.
Like that's just an example. Like it, whatever grows, as in the native areas. Like it is what it is. It's hard as shit to find and get out of, whatever. So playing this year, second time playing, I think we played the same tees, whatever. But again, it's like, I played there once last year, played there. This is my second time. So a couple things I remember, a couple things I fucking for sure don't. So I started on 8. 8's a par 5. I bogeyed it. So it's a blind tee shot, and where I hit to was the middle of the fairway, which was a blind approach shot. Pulled it a little bit, pulled it, middle of the fescue. So that's kind of what we're working with.
Yeah.
And because of the drought conditions, they wanted us to stay in the rough. So it's like, it was a massive pain in the ass for me to like drive all the way up, see what I'm looking at, drive all the way back. Like,
right.
In respect of the course and the wishes of the staff, I'm like, fuck it. I'll just hit a 6 iron. Like, how bad can it be? It's like, then I pulled it a little bit and I go, oh fuck, that's in the middle of the fescue. Then of course we get to 9. 9 was the whole, it's a par 3. It's nationally ranked, and it's 9 yards wide. 9.
Wow.
And it is surrounded by bunkers that when standing in are up to like my shoulder.
Good.
And it just hit it out to 6 feet, knock the putt in. Let's fucking go. And then, played the next until through 16. I was 1 over, and the hole that I bogeyed, you hit like, say like 200 off the tee, you got 135 or so left, and it goes straight fucking uphill. Like, and I mean straight fucking uphill. And like, I've played some holes that go straight uphill, and they do not go, like, not compared to this. It's insane. And of course, you don't feel the wind because it's, again, blocked completely. So like all four of us were way short of the green. So, chip it on, two putts, whatever. So anyway, then 17 and 18, bad bounces, tough decisions. It's kind of a weird course to only play annually. And again, second time.
Right.
Like the ninth hole last year, I remember hitting driver and almost running out of room. So it's like I hit hybrid, but I pulled it. So I was like flirting with a bunker that you can't see. Like you can't see anything. So it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe next time I'll fuck it. I don't know. Whatever. So I'm 4 over through 11, which is pretty fucking good. I mean,
that is pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's pretty good, especially for me, and especially shooting an 88 there last year. So I get back to 1, and 1 big surprise, blind shot. So it's like a 260 par 4. And last year I hit driver and I hit it into the back left bunker. So I'm like, all right, well, let's hit 4 iron. So 4 iron goes up, fairway rough, who gives a fuck, 90 yards. I'm like, all right, it looks like everything's going to move to the left. So let me just throw it off to the right, whatever. This thing must have landed at 90, skipped fucking forward, and just ran the fuck away.
Oh, God.
Whereas normally that fucking holds a green and is maybe 20 feet coming back.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
No, this one ran 20 yards long and left. So that goes into a bunker. Again, shoulder height. Ball goes out on the green, comes all the way back into the bunker, but now it's stuck underneath the lip.
Good.
So from the green, back in the bunker, underneath the lip. Unplayable, hit that out. And I think I'm putting for 6 at that point, which we were playing in Stableford. So net double, I just picked up. So
yeah.
I was ball in pocket, whether it was a putt or not. I don't know. Because what am I hitting? So third shot out, 4 unplayable, 5 from the bunker. Yeah. So 1 putt is 6. And I could only take 6 there. So second hole, par 5. There's like a little creek that I'm looking at. I'm like, there was something about this hole. I don't remember what. I don't know, whatever. So I laser the creek. It's 295. And we're elevated tee and it's downwind. I'm like, 295. That's far. That's far,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I fucking flew this creek. I hit it on a straight line. Like I was trying to hit a cut. It didn't cut. So it's in the fescue and it's gone. And because I know how far I hit driver, but when a creek is 295 and I hit it over it,
yeah,
I have no idea where this fucking ball is. So I'm looking in fescue and I'm not finding it. But
right.
So I'm like, okay, well, we'll hit. So hit 4 from the fairway, local rule for a lost ball. That goes next to the green. Try to get cute with the chip. Lands and stays on a sprinkler head, I think. So that was 4, chip 5. So I'm hitting 6. Yeah, hitting 6 from on top of a sprinkler head.
Good.
I just picked it up. I just picked it up because again, it was if I chipped it in from the sprinkler head, and I don't think I got relief because I think it was in except because I was in the rough.
Oh,
so if I chipped it in, I would have saved a stroke.
Yeah.
I'm not chipping in from a fucking sprinkler head. So move on with our lives. Next hole, par 3. I think it was 235 pin.
Wow. That is a ridiculously long par 3.
Yep.
That's like pro style par 3.
It's so fucking long. So fucking fun.
I mean, those guys would probably still hit like a 6 iron, but like I would have to hit driver.
Yeah. It's comical. So, so unfortunately, because of how shitty I'm playing, like we're playing slow as a group now. So I'm like, fuck. And a guy forgot his wedge. So it's like shit. Like not only am I playing like shit, like this guy forgot his wedge. Like we're fucking behind.
Yeah.
So I go ready golf and I hit. And I think I just like flare it out left, whatever. And they're still like deliberating clubs. I'm like, dude, it's 235. Like, do you have a 235 shot or not? Like,
yeah.
It can't be this hard of a decision. Like, So I'm looking for my ball on the left. And one guy's like, oh no, you were hooking it. I go, okay. If I was hooking it, we would be looking way to the right.
Yeah.
You are looking way to the left. So did I fucking hook it?
Right.
Or did I hit it to the left?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, way over here. So I think I hit it with the horses. I don't know. I'm not really sure. There's a horse stable next to the third hole.
Nice.
So then that's again, hit 4 from the fairway. I have 54 yards to the pin on this. Like chip that, doesn't get it close. Tried to chip it in, didn't go in because I think I had to take one there. I don't know, whatever. Next hole, people hit. I just like blasted into a penalty area. Get that? Like I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And it's like, so like blasting into the penalty area, obviously not ideal. And it was just like a bad swing. Like that's all that was. But the other ones were like bad strategy. I'm just like, man, it is just like so fucking hard to play a place like this when you don't know what to fucking do.
Yeah.
And it's like 235. Like, what the fuck are you even supposed to do? Because not for nothing, I'm thinking back. Well, actually, so I guess skip ahead because the next hole's the 5th hole straightforward. 6th hole was 232 pin par 4. So I think it played shorter yesterday.
That's cool.
And there's like a creek that runs at like 190 would have covered the creek. 232 pin. And there's some shit short and water right. And it's like, yeah, you can try to drive the green, but like it's blocked by pretty shitty bunkers. Or it's like, I guess you can try to go 190 over the creek, but there is wind at me. So I'm like, I don't know if 4 iron's enough. So I just hit a 7 iron and I just pushed it. So I was like hacking out of the rough, whatever. So it's like the mental gymnastics you kind of have to do.
Yeah.
Can be really fucking hard. And it's like, again, dude, like from elevation and downwind, dude, 295, like I don't hit a fucking driver that far, but apparently I do. I must have hit this ball 340. Like,
yeah.
like, because where we're looking, like we would have found it.
Right.
We would have found it if I hit that ball 325 or less, we would have found it.
Right.
So I'm like, what the fuck? And then I have to turn around and I have to fucking sling 235 into a green. It's like, fuck me. And then even with that, I'm like thinking back, like, you know, hopefully we get invited back next year. I'm like, maybe I'll just lay up. But then I'm remembering that it's a 185 to cover one bunker. And if you're a little bit left, it's going to go into another bunker. So it's like, even your layup still probably has to be like 210, 205, or you just bail way to the fucking right, which a couple guys did unintentionally. Like that might be the play. It's like trying to figure out like how to play these places when you only see them once a year. Yeah. And then like, what are the odds that next time on 2, it's going to be downwind? Like, what if it's into the wind? Right. Cause like I probably could have hit 5 iron off the tee. Cause it's a par 5, 460. I probably could have hit 5 iron, 7 iron, and just kind of like pitch a wedge. Yeah. So yeah, that's it's fucking hard. It is just a fucking pain in the ass. It's just a old course, right? Like that's just old. It's a lot of old and it's a lot of blind.
Is it from my buddy, my boy Donnie?
No.
It's not a Donnie Ross.
No, it's before him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I think the guy who designed it only designed one golf course in his life, and it was this one. Yeah. Like, I literally think they, like, so we get the spiel, like the Myopia Club started in Winchester, and then they moved up to Hamilton, and then they built the golf course, and now they got polo and shit, and there's fucking bloodhounds on the property somewhere for fox hunting. I don't fucking know. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure the dude that built the golf course was not a golf course designer. I don't know if that was a profession at the time. Yeah.
I guess that
Like,
makes sense.
I think he was just a dude.
Yeah.
Or I could be off a little bit, but it's not like, because like Donald Ross and Seth Rayner and Mackenzie McDonald, like all those guys came later.
Yeah. Did Jones ever design courses?
Bobby Jones?
Yeah.
No, he was one of the founders of Augusta National, but he was
Okay.
not a
Wasn't a
he was not
designer.
an architect. He was a lawyer.
Oh wow. Jesus. He did okay.
Yeah.
Went from a lawyer to professional golfer to one of the founding members at Augusta.
He never went pro.
Oh.
Bobby Jones never went pro. He was always an amateur.
Oh shit. Oh, look at that.
That's like part of the things with him is like, so he did win the Grand Slam, but back in the day, the Grand Slam included the US Am and the Amateur Championship. So he won US Open, US Am, Open Championship, Amateur Championship. And that was the Grand Slam he won in whatever, 1930.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was never a professional golfer.
Wow.
Now, no one ever is really like, wow, the honor of Bobby Jones. Like, no one does that shit.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
Myopia, Hunt, Architect, Herbert Leeds.
Yeah. I can't say I've ever heard of him.
Herbert Leeds, born in Boston, died in Hamilton in 1930.
Jesus.
He designed the course himself for 30 years. So he did so he did do a few other layouts.
So if he died in 1930, what was he born in? Like fucking 1865?
1855, older than
Wow.
you thought.
He was
He lived to 75, defying the odds.
Yeah, Jesus. So he was alive before the Civil War. Wasn't the Civil War in 1865?
Something like that. 1860s, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing though. Leeds was born into a wealthy family, lifelong sportsman, sailing, golf, went to Harvard, born in Boston, died in Hamilton, built this
Local
place,
guy.
myopia, whatever. I assure you, off the 15th hole, someone's like, oh, it looks like a nice old English manor house. I go, yeah. And if you look to the left, you can tell that that there were servants living there.
Yeah, that's the slave quarters
for sure.
Yeah, and now they get away with it. They're like, oh, that's the carriage house.
Yeah.
Nah, not quite.
Yeah, it's the carriage house.
It might hold a carriage today.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, this house in this age of whatever, human beings were absolutely purchased and lived there.
Oh yeah,
like
1000%,
fucking for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess what he's also done was Palmetto, which is in Aiken, South Carolina. That's supposed to be super exclusive, super nice. Kibo Valley and Bar Harbor, which I don't know shit about, but everyone says Bar Harbor's fun, but I just look at the drive and be like, it's
a million miles away.
6 hours, right? From us.
You might as well just fucking drive to Canada at that point.
Yeah. And then Bass Rocks in Gloucester, if you can ever get out there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's one of those like really uppity courses, but it is for sure very private.
Yeah. So that's
So I mean that's the guy who designed it, but again, he like not really a designer, if you will.
Yeah.
Also, how the fucking in 19 fucking dickety 2 do you get to fucking Bar Harbor, Maine? Boat? It has to be boat from the North Shore.
Horseback?
Oh my god.
In a carriage. You ride a covered wagon.
Like that's insane. Like that's so far.
When did they invent cars?
Like the
1920s,
but
yeah.
Like so
and not everyone had a car because not everyone afford
like
it.
Was there does a train go up there? Like how the fuck
it had to have been a train.
How the fucking
there had to have been a train.
He designed this course in 1894. That was myopia. I assume
Yeah.
Bar Harbor came later. So somewhere between 1894 and like 1915 would put him at 60 years old. So let's say between 1895 and 1915, over that 20-year span. How the fuck does someone get from Hamilton, Massachusetts to Bar Harbor, Maine?
Yeah.
Like, even if it's by boat, like, so you're gonna take this boat ride to go design a golf course? Like how the fuck was that worth it?
Yeah, that's nuts. Because you'd have to take a horse from Hamilton to Gloucester, right? And then you'd have to take the boat from Gloucester to Bar Harbor. That's
Yeah,
a lot of fucking work.
that seems like a lot of work.
It seems like that's at least like a 2-day ride on horseback.
From Hamilton to Gloucester.
Yeah.
I don't even know how far. Like that's, I don't even know how far that is. Like, how far does 1 horsepower get you?
Yeah. I don't know.
What's the mile an hour on that?
Yeah. Yeah. What's the output?
It's like
On the
5.
1 horsepower.
Like 5 miles an hour. Is that too much?
I don't know. I mean, Paul Revere did it.
I feel like you could bike faster than that.
He rode pretty far. But that's the thing, like the horse, you gotta have the horse has to have stamina, right? Like they can run pretty fast, but how long can they keep it up? I feel like if you're gonna take a horse on a long distance, like you got to keep it at a little trot, nice little jog.
Saunter, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the fuck. That's fucking crazy. Like Bar Harbor. I just don't know how the fuck you get up there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because you don't think about that. People forget.
Yeah.
People forget cars were invented in like 1920. So
And it's like, and I'm thinking it probably wasn't car because, although Harvard connection, I was gonna say, like, even if, because I want to say the car was invented in like 1916, 1918.
yeah, but
like
then
that.
also, even if it was, like, how far could the car fucking travel?
Or 1908, something like that. But then it's like, yeah, so how widely available is it by 1915?
Right. Well, 1, how widely available is it? 2, how far can it actually travel? Right. Is it like on gas? Because if cars are brand new, there's not a gas station on every corner. It's like, it would be kind of like the electric vehicles now. Like there's not like an electric charging station on every corner. There's certainly more now than there was like 5 or 10 years ago, but like you're kind of limited there. So like, I don't know. It's nuts.
Model T 1908. So
1908.
So that's like 7 years of production, which back then is not long enough for cars to be like widely available. Never
No.
mind. Can you rely on one to drive what is current day 5? I think it's 5. Maybe it's 4.5. I don't think it's 6. 6. If you go north 6 hours, you have to hit Canada, I feel like.
Yeah.
From Boston. From you, I mean, that's another.
Whatever. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Google just gave me nothing on how long can a Model T drive.
Like that would have taken days to get up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't I got nothing on distance, like distance able to travel. Transmission was a 2-speed. It had 20
stop and go.
It had 20 horsepower.
Oh, that's more than 1.
Yeah, it's more than
although you could take
covered
2
wagon.
Oh, you could take 2 horses though.
Yeah.
They got plenty of horses, I'll tell you that much. There's a fucking shitload of horses, especially now.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, so since we're on golf, I actually had a little bit of time today for the first time in a while to break down the golf tournament this weekend, because it is the very first week of the FedEx Cup playoffs in the PGA tournament. So I looked into some statistics. Shout out to Data Golf, not a sponsor of the show. They don't sponsor really anybody, but whatever.
Because everyone uses them.
Yeah, Data Golf is a great website. So
I also have not looked at one statistic, so I cannot confirm or dispute anything you're saying.
Yeah.
I will just actually, you know what? I can and will dispute them. but might not be based in facts or numbers.
So basically, this course, which is TPC Southwind, again, it's the FedEx St. Jude Invitational. I forget what it used to be called. Yeah,
It used
Memphis.
to be so I think it's always been the FedEx St. Jude. It's just it wasn't a playoff
Okay.
event because they've been playing there for a long time.
Okay. All right. So
must be nice in Memphis if it's 90 and fucking humid as fuck here. What do you think it is in Memphis?
Oh yeah, dude.
I think it's like 62.
Imagine. Yeah,
It's like
nice
62.
and cool. Yeah, balmy 62.
Yeah, it's got to be 105. Like every bit of 105 and just oppressive.
Absolutely fucking miserable. That's what it is. So looking at the course and how it stacks up, in most every statistic across the board, it is average. The course yardage is just about average. It's a little shorter than average, but still, like, everything where it lines up is average. Driving distance is a little bit longer, but still like closer to average than it is to the top. The average score to par is 0.95 strokes under, which is right around average. Like, everything about this course is fucking average, except
so gross.
Except
one last year
for the fairway width. So the average width of the fairway is 29.6 yards, which that's really fucking small. Like, those are some small fairways. You have roughly 30 yards to get your ball out there. Again, on average, but still. And also combine that with the missed fairway penalty. So this, for anyone that doesn't know what that means, a missed fairway penalty is what is the average strokes gained or lost versus a player that hits it in the fairway off the tee versus hits it in the rough. So TPC Southwind sits at 0.45. So you're roughly a half a stroke worse on every hole if you hit it into the rough off the tee. So not only do they have some of the narrowest fairways, but if you miss that narrow fairway, you're on average going to add a half a stroke to that hole. So those two stats in particular are what stood out, because like I said, literally everything across the board, just average. So I took that and I picked some stats to look at from there. And I looked at strokes gained, tee to green, and also driving accuracy. I did look at good drive percentage too, but like it wasn't like it was just kind of like oh, I like this guy, so let me see what his good drive percentage is. So a good drive percentage, for anyone that's listening, it's a combination stat. So it's how many times do you hit the fairway, or if you miss the fairway, do you get on the green or on the fringe to the green after hitting in the rough? So that's what good drive percentage is versus driving accuracy. Driving accuracy is very straightforward. It's, do you hit the fairway? Like, what percentage of the time do you hit the ball in the fairway off the tee? But the good drive percentage is, again, takes into that account not only just do you hit the fairway, but if you miss the fairway, do you get it on the green? So then I looked at the shot distribution, which they give you. So 23% of the shots that come from an approach, these are approach shots into the green, are between 150 and 175 yards. And then 21 and a half come from 175 to 200. So you're looking at almost 50% of your shots. I think it comes out to be, what, 44.5%. So call it 45% of your shots, your approach shots into the green, are going to come from between 150 and 200 yards. So those are going to be important distances to look at too when it comes to approach. So I did all this shit and I came up with a few guys here. So again, I looked at driving accuracy, and then approaches from 150 to 175, and then approaches from 175 to 200. And then again, I took into account and around the green also that I just pulled from the strokes gained tee to green. So PGAtour.com, when you use strokes gained tee to green, which is very self-explanatory, it's all of your strokes gained except for putting, essentially. They give you a breakdown of like the strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, strokes gained around the green. So I pulled the tee to green stat only to look at that, but also to use the column of around the green, because I wasn't going to take anybody that had a negative number in around the green. So I don't want anyone that's losing strokes around the green. I want someone that's accurate off the tee, and I want someone that's good on approaches from 150 to 175, and then 175 to 200. So I came up with, I only have one outright bet, and that is Sung Jae Im at 32 to 1. Oh, so the other thing too, let me back up here. It's the first event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. There's 3 events. So typically in the past too, the guys that win this are legit, right? So Abraham Answer won last year. So whatever, he's gone now. He's on the Live Tour, but he did win it last year. 2020, Justin Thomas. 2019, Brooks Koepka. 2018, Justin Thomas. 2017, Hideki Matsuyama. 2016, Dustin Johnson. 15 was Lowry. 14 was Rory. 13 was Tiger. So typically the people that win here are good, right? So I know Lowry ended up being really good. You could make the argument that when he won here in 2015, he wasn't the Shane Lowry that he is now, but all of these guys that have won are really fucking good, right? It's not like, Tom Kim is not winning this week, or, fucking.
Don't sleep on Tom Kim.
Yeah. So I went with Sung Jae Im because he's 10th overall in strokes gained tee to green. He's 30th in driving accuracy. He is 30th in greens hit from 150 to 175. He's 9th in greens hit from 175 to 200. He gains almost half a stroke around the green. So I like Sung Jae Im to win. I think the course fits him, his game. And if I look really quickly, I don't think he did that well here last year. I don't see him on the leaderboard from last year, but his stats fit. Oh, he finished T46 last year. So that's obviously not ideal from a course history standpoint, but his game would seem to fit at least what I have deemed important. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. So Sung Jae Im, again, at 32 to 1 here. That's the only outright that I have right now. I have 2 top 5s. I have Hideki Matsuyama at plus 780 and Shane Lowry at plus 790. The other thing about Sung Jae Im is he's playing well right now too. So I combine the fact that he's been playing well recently with, his stats kind of fit what you need to do around here. And I think that fits pretty well. So let me see. where am I going here? Top 5, Hideki and Lowry. So Hideki, let me type his name in real quick. Matsu. So he's 16th in strokes gained tee to green. He's 101st in driving accuracy. So that was a little concerning, which is why I took him top 5. However, he's 3rd in greens hit from 150 to 175. He's also 9th in approaches, just flat out approaches from that distance, with an average distance out of 25 feet. So if you give Hideki a shot in the fairway from 150 to 175, on average, he leaves it 25 feet from the pin. Now, he also kind of tails off in the longer distances. He's 109th in greens hit from 175 to 200, which again, this is why I'm not taking him to win. I'm just taking him top 5. But I think he fits this course relatively well. And he finished T2 here last year. So obviously, then I said, Shane Lowry was my other top 5 guy. He's played really well this year. I feel like he's the guy that's this year, at least, is always the bridesmaid, never the bride. He's always kind of in that kicking around the top 10. Has he won this year yet?
Who?
Shane Lowry. Yeah, did he win the Arnold? No, he lost the playoff in the Arnold Palmer, I think.
Yeah, that or the Honda. No, Berger fucked the Honda.
Yeah. So like I said, he's been kicking around. He's always kind of there. He won this event in 2015. He finished T23 last year. Let's see where he sits. He's 21st in strokes gained tee to green. He's 57th in driving accuracy, 57th in greens hit from 150, and T69th in approaches from 150. He's 20. So he gets better. He's like the opposite of Hideki. He's better from the longer distance. He's 21st in greens hit from 175 to 200. And he's 11th in approaches from the same distance. So on average, he leaves it about 30 feet 5 inches from 175 to 200. So I like Lowry. Again, I like Hideki and Sungjae. And then I got a couple guys for a top 10. One of them is Tony Fenow at plus 220 and a top 10. Literally the only reason why I have him for a top 10 bet is because he's hot as fuck right now. I don't think he's going to win, but he is just playing super well. He won back-to-back weeks a couple weeks ago. He is 5th on tour in strokes gained tee to green. His driving accuracy is not good. He's 122nd in driving accuracy. However, he's 7th in greens hit from 150 to 175 and 19th in approaches from the same distance. He's 1st on tour in greens hit from 175 to 200 and 3rd in approach from that same distance, leaves it about 29 feet 9 inches. So his driving accuracy is dog shit, right? So the whole thing, those stats, the greens hit and the approaches from those distances are predicated on hitting it from the fairway, right? So when Fenow is in the fairway, he's really fucking good. However, like I said, he ranks 122nd in driving accuracy. So it's one of those, like, it makes me nervous. So that's why I'm betting him top 10. Plus you add the factor that he's, like I said, he's hot as fuck right now. He's playing really well. So I don't know his numbers out of the rough versus the fairway, but I would imagine they're probably not great. So another thing, just in case people are like, oh, why did you pick all these stats? Like, how do you know they're important? Well, the guy that won last year, Abraham Answer, just for shits and giggles, like I looked at where he fell. So Abraham Answer again won this event last year. He's 6th. Now he hasn't played in a little bit because he left to go to live, but his stats are still counted here for this season. He's 6th on tour in driving accuracy. He's 119th in greens hit from 150. He's 24th in approach from the same distance. He's 47th in greens hit from the 175, and he's 7th in approach distance from the 175 to 200. So, and he's the guy that won last year. So he's at the top of all of those stats. So that also kind of made me feel pretty good that, oh, I think I have some decent stats here. Now, the last 2 guys that I have, I'm not going to spend a ton of time with them. Well, one of them I will, the other one I won't, but it's Russell Henley plus 450 at top 10 and Corey Connors plus 580 in the top 10. So I'll give you the cliff notes on Corey Connors. He's good. He's good from the fairway from 150, the both distances between 150 and 200. He's pretty fucking good. He's also 13th in strokes gained tee to green. So I think he's relatively accurate off the tee too. He's 28th. So Russell Henley, I have him as a top 10 bet right now. I think I potentially am going to also bet him outright, which all of these numbers are from mybookie.com, by the way. Shout out to MyBookie. Go to mybookie.com, use the promo code SarcasmPod when you sign up, and they'll double your first deposit up to $1,000. So again, all these odds are from mybookie.com. Russell Henley is 50-1 to win this week. So let me give you his stats. He's 11th strokes gained tee to green, 19th in driving accuracy, 1st in greens hit from 150 to 175, 20th in approaches from that distance, 59th in greens hit from 175 to 200, and 101st in approaches from the longer distance. So he is great across the board, and then he's average in the approach from 175 to 200. So I really like him top 10 plus 450. And I think I might also take him 50-1 to win outright. He's another guy that's been playing pretty well recently. I don't have his stats right in front of me, but I know he finished near the top at the Wyndham. I think he did well at the Open also, ? So he's playing well right now.
Yeah. So while you were talking, I just did my whole breakdown because
I figured you were
yeah.
you were doing
so
that.
Normally I would break down a lot of stats too, but there's a couple of reasons why I'm not. And one is the field is strong.
Right.
It is a playoff event. I forget when it started. I think it was a playoff event last year, maybe the year before. Don't remember. And it was a WGC for one of those years. So it was either 21-20 as playoff WGC, or it was playoff WGC. Don't remember. So years past, it's been very, very mediocre field. So now all the guys are here. So everyone's playing, everyone's here, everyone's geared up, everyone's rested. So I like good players. Now, is Russell Henley worth a 50-1? Probably. I just tweeted it out. He's 2-1, top 20. I'm just going to skip because with only 3 playoff events and the guys that are around and playing, I'm just going to skip it, and I'm going to play the hits. So I like Zalatoris outright 21-1. I like Morikawa 30-1, and I like Burns 30-1. The top dogs who I really like, their numbers suck. So if you need me to pick a winner for the tournament, yeah, it's probably one of those guys in the teens. Like I could see people sleeping on Scotty Scheffler because he hasn't won since April.
Right.
But he did win 4 times. He's a ball striking machine. Because that's the other thing when you read off past winners, all I thought was strokes gained approach.
Yeah.
So like he hits the fuck out of the ball. He hasn't won in a while. People kind of forget. So
people forget he's really good.
Yeah. So I mean, the gambling odds haven't forgotten, but people have kind of forgotten.
Right.
So that screams approach to me. He's like 17-1 or something. It's bullshit.
13-25.
Yeah, that's awful.
So
I'm not betting that.
Yeah.
No. So the best ball striker, pure ball striker this year. I'm not, and I don't care about stats. Again, I'm not letting this. It's Zalatoris, in my opinion. It might be Rory by stats, but number 1 strokes gained approach, he's got to be top 3. Just in pure strokes gained approach. If we don't filter for yardage, none of that.
Right.
So he's up there. I think he is the best iron player on tour right now this season.
Right.
It's a playoff. He tends to show up when the tournaments matter, whatever. Colin Morikawa, he's been the best iron player prior to this year. So getting him 30-1, I feel like is stealing, or the books are buying my bet because they know he's not going to win. So it's like, hey, let's give him an inflated number.
Morikawa, for whatever reason, has not played well this year.
No, and he's struggling with his ball flight, which is fair, but
yeah, he's just had like on it by his standard, a bad year.
Probably because he got engaged like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, probably. Moron.
Yeah. And then Sam Burns, he's won 3 times this year.
Yep.
He is extremely fucking good at golf. He does have 3 wins this year. People forget. Lost in a playoff to Scheffler or beat him in the playoff. I don't remember. I think he won. I think Burns won. I think he hit a lot.
Yeah, Burns won.
Okay. So he won the playoff. So he won.
Was
3.
it the Valspar? He beat Scheffler in the playoff.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
And he's also 30-1. It's like I don't think the odds wise, I don't think he's twice or half as likely to win as Scotty Scheffler.
Right.
Like Morikawa. Again, I call 30 a good number because he's generally in the 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably half as likely to win this year as those other guys. But Burns and Zalatoris are right up there.
So just looking really quick at Morikawa's stats, he's missed 3 out of his last 4 cuts. So just going back, he missed the cut at the Open. He missed the cut at the Scottish Open.
Yeah,
he finished T5 at the US Open. He missed the cut at Memorial. Then he was T40 at the Charles Schwab, T55 at the PGA, T29 in Zurich, T26 at the Heritage, 5th at the Masters, and then T9 at the match play.
So that's very mediocre. What reaches or what shows up to me is when you said this place is a very, very average stock standard PGA Tour course. That means so he showed up at 2 of the majors. He, again, mediocre at 1 and missed the cut overseas. I'm not judging his performance based on what happened over there. Never mind, that was also 3 weeks ago. So he hasn't played in 3 weeks, right. Which for these guys, someone's like, he hasn't played in 3 weeks. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's actually probably a good thing for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he hasn't played well this year. That's why he's 30-1. But if this is going to come down to iron play, I will take him. Like he has shown to this year that he is extremely good with his irons. And if you want to give me 30-1 on him, I'm going to take it. So if this would fit the category of one of my pet peeves, it's like, good bet. It's a good bet. It's like, no, it's only a good bet if it fucking hits. But right. I like the number and the player, like the player's profile and the number. That's why I like Morikawa. If you don't like Morikawa, then don't take him because it doesn't matter if he's fucking 60-1. If you don't think he's going to win, it's fucking useless.
Right. So also Russell Henley is 2nd in strokes gain approach. Who's first?
Will Zalatoris. Oh, is it Zalatoris?
Zalatoris. Yeah.
Yeah. So And the only reason I don't like Henley is because he's not a winner. Now he has won before.
Right.
The only reason I didn't throw him in there is because I just look at the field. I just think it's extremely unlikely that someone like him is going to pull a 2010 Nick Watney and light the field. Like,
I mean, Answer did win last year. I would put Answer on the same level as a Henley.
I think Answer's a little bit better of a player.
Yeah, that's
Henley's
fair.
Henley's a better iron player. Probably hits it further too. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of Abraham Answer.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to really see that now that he left to go to live, because he's only like 27.
Yeah, he's young, so I don't know. But yeah, I think Answer's probably a better player. Because Henley's been around a while, man. Like Henley won an event in like 2013.
Oh, really?
So when like it's something like that, I think so. I think he won in Hawaii in like 2013 as a rookie. I think it was his first start.
Oh,
might have been the Sony. And like, dude, he really kind of hasn't been around.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, eh.
But that's also why I have him top 10.
Yeah,
I haven't taken him yet as an outright. I might, because that 50-1 is really enticing.
Yeah,
especially
I mean, even fucking $2 makes 100 or $5 makes 250. Like,
right.
You don't have to put a lot of money on him.
Yeah, especially like when he's first in greens hit from 150 to 175. He's literally the best player on tour at hitting the green from that distance.
Yeah, I think,
and that's where 23% of the shots come from at this course.
Yeah, and I just think the only hard part for pulling for a dog or like a dark horse is like JT won the PGA. Roars should have won the Open, did win in Canada. Scheffler's won 4. Burns has won 3. Xander's won 2. Finau's won 2. Like, some of these guys at the top are actually winning.
Right.
So it's like, if they're going to actually play, and never mind, it's like the top guys have seemed to kind of ball out a little bit with all the live shit going on. Right. I don't want to say, oh, they're only playing well because now they're more motivated. No, fuck that.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Oh, the motivation factor.
Yeah, it's the motivation. But I have noticed that the top guys have seemed to have been hanging around ever since the fucking live shit started. So,
right.
Like again, it's golf, so you really can't force it, but it's almost like, Jay behind closed doors, like, hey, can you guys get your shit together and make a fucking compelling tournament here? Like,
right.
So we can pull some fucking viewers.
Right.
Like, maybe.
Yeah. So you just like those 3 guys for outrights?
I'm not fucking with anything else. Again, like, if you want to look at Henley, go ahead. The rest of it, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's too hard because, again, I think it's going to come from one of those top 6 guys.
Yeah, I would say so too, right? I mean, like I said, when I read the past winners, it's outside of Answer, JT, Koepka, JT, Hideki, DJ, Lowry,
it's all
Rory,
top guys.
Tiger.
Yeah, it's all top guys.
So the only guys that weren't at the top of the year that they won were Lowry in 15 and Answer last year.
And then if you look at the strongest fields of this year so far, at the Open, Cam Smith won. He's been great all season. He also won the Players. So he's been good all year.
Right.
Open, US Open, Matty Fitz. He was the strokes gained leader tee to green all year.
Yes.
Or strokes gained total. One of the
strokes gained total.
He was strokes gained total. So from a strokes gained perspective, he was the best golfer on the tour this year. I think Roar's passed him, but
yeah. Okay, but when he won the US Open.
So he won the US Open.
Yeah.
JT was like, he's like top 3. He's like top 3 in every fucking, or he's like top 5 in every fucking stat except putting.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, another guy statistically having a great year. Scheffler, that was his 4th event that he won.
Yeah.
So it's like, so far this year, it's like, again, the good players have been winning. So
yeah,
I'm trying to keep it simple.
I do think the winner is most likely going to be one of those guys, but like I said, it's what's the fun too in taking Scotty Scheffler at 13, just
No, it's
over
lame.
13 to 1, or
It's lame
Rory,
because then if he wins and your other
Rory's
bets
plus
don't hit,
920.
you're still, yeah, that's horrible. Like you're still upside down. If you could take an outright. Say you bet like $10 and you take an outright, but you also do some top fives, top 20s, whatever. You can hit your outright and still be upside down.
And
Like
still
how,
not
like,
cover the weekend. Yeah.
that's fucking awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what fun is that?
Right. Right. And that's kind of also why I went with Sung Jae at 30 to 1. Like I think that's a pretty good number. So the other thing too about a really strong field, and we don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but when it comes to something like a DraftKings, like a daily fantasy, a strong field is actually beneficial, because I have a couple DraftKings lineups, and Russell Henley, I think, is in all three of them that I have right now. He's like $7,800 on DraftKings. So like I read you his stats, right? He's really fucking good. His stats fit this course on paper. And you can get someone like him for $7,800 on a DraftKings. And also too, like I said, he's 50 to 1 on the outright. And someone like Sung J M is 30 to 1 outright, where, you know, maybe during a normal one-off event, you know, Sung Jae might be like, you know, depending on the event, really, he could be the favorite, but he's probably going to be somewhere between 12 to 1 and 20 to 1. But because this is such a strong field, he's 30 to 1. So, you know, like you said before, it's it's a good bet. It's kind of a fucking lame argument, but it does come into play with strong field events, right? Like I'm just looking at it right now on my bookie. Shane Lowry is 33 to 1 to win this week. So it's like,
that's a pretty good number.
That's a really good number. Like he's won here before. He's really good. I have him. I forget what it was. He's really good from the longer distances, right? From 175 to 200. He's accurate off the tee. Like Shane Lowry could be worth it at 33 to 1 too, you know, but again, he's a guy that during a normal week, that's not non-major, non-playoff event, you might be looking at 18 to 1, you know, but this week he's 33 to 1. So sometimes the stronger field helps from that standpoint as well. Like I said, from a daily fantasy perspective, and then also from an odds perspective. So I don't know. I might fuck around and make some more outright bets too. Now that I just looked at Shane Lowry at 33 to 1, I like that, but we'll see. Because the other thing too is, how long has this been a playoff event? Did you say?
It's either its second or its third year.
Okay. So that would be going back. It would be Answer, JT, and Koepka.
No, so when Koepka, it was not a playoff event when Koepka won. I think I'm actually kind of thinking last year was the first playoff event, and the year before it was a WGC.
Okay. Yeah. Because I was going to say, looking back, and I know the playoff thing has changed a little bit. Obviously, they went from 4 events to 3 and changed some stuff around there. But I was going to say the guy that wins this event typically doesn't go on to win the tour championship, right? The FedEx Cup. So you could take that into play, right? Like if you're like, well, I don't know, I think Scotty Scheffler is probably going to win, but the guy that wins this tournament usually isn't the one that wins. You could probably, you know what I mean? You could play that game too, which is kind of a lame game to play, honestly, but it's something to do. It's almost like a fucking motivation factor thing, right? Like, oh, well, you know, this team is going to play harder because they hate those guys. It's like kind of along those lines. Well, yeah, you're going to pick a guy that's not going to win the FedEx Cup, but he's still good.
Yeah.
But we don't even have enough history to do that, because this is probably only the second or third year anyway. So
I will say, without looking it up, whoever does win that first playoff event, when it was the Barclays and the Northern Trust and whatever, it was a lot. That was always really goofy.
Yeah, because some of them would skip the next event. Like if they won the first event, they just like wouldn't play the second event. And there was a lot of guys that like just wouldn't play the first event. Like if they were in the top 10, like if they were in the seventh in the FedEx Cup standings, they were like, yeah, I'm just going to skip the first playoff event.
You know what? I'm actually thinking now, I think I was wrong. I think this is the first year of it being a playoff event because Tony Fenow won the Northern Trust last year. Yeah. So this is the first year of it being a playoff event. Holy shit.
All right.
Definitely wasn't last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they actually played the Northern Trust last year.
Yeah. Huh. All right. Well, there you go.
Right.
Where was the Northern Trust? Was that in Chicago or something?
No, it would have been. Should have been the New York area.
The other one is Chicago, isn't it?
Used to be. You know what they're going next week?
Where?
Wilmington, Delaware.
Jesus. That's fucking stupid. Yeah, because it used to be Boston, New York, Chicago, Atlanta. Like those were the 4 playoffs. Yep. Playoff cities, regions, whatever.
Yeah, now it's Memphis, Wilmington, Delaware, and Atlanta.
Yeah. Sick. Gotta go to the game.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, you got anything else? Or you want to start wrapping this up?
Yeah, we can wrap this up.
All right.
Let me I don't even know. Do I have anything in this sheet? Probably not.
No, you just have the one from Jones.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So Costco travels today. I found, well, so I guess in the long of it, so we got Costco memberships whenever. I found like the full cuts of all types of shit, ribs, beef ribs, pork ribs, short ribs, whole pork bellies, whole briskets, all of it. And it's all at like prices that I actually would pay. It's just so much fucking quantity of food. I don't know what to fucking do with it.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this off air, but those places are great. Like you have a membership at Costco and I have a membership at BJ's now. Like what you just said, the stock that they have there is fucking unreal.
And that's the thing is like, so I saw like, so not only do they have things that I can't find elsewhere because they sell it in whole, it's usually like at some price you can maybe afford, ribeyes notwithstanding.
Yeah.
So I found picanha today. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Okay.
Not like raw in a fucking package.
Have you ever seen videos of people making it?
Yes.
Okay. Because I think what it really effectively is, it's a steak. Because I think you buy the roast and you cut it into steaks. I think that's
Brazilian, right?
I think so. I think I think the Brazilians made something with it or were commonly using it, whatever.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's a moderately tougher piece, or like it's because it ain't a ribeye, it ain't a strip, nothing like that.
Right.
But I think it's actually a tougher piece because I think it comes from closer to the hip. Like near some like the rump cuts and stuff like that. So, but the thing about it is it's got a massive fat cap on it. So like that's how I can like identify it in a way, like when I see videos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they sell the whole bastard, and I think you have to like carve it up though. So I'm like, obviously I want everything, but I'm like, that might not be the one to get for like the first,
yeah,
like full vac sealed adventure.
Right.
Because I think it comes like, because it comes whole. I think there's some pieces of it that you don't want to use.
Okay.
Like I think it's like super fucking lean.
Yeah. I just looked it up. Picanha is a cut of beef first made popular in Brazil and later adopted in Portugal. It is little known in the United States and often named the top sirloin cap, the rump cover, or the rump cap. And it's a pretty lean cut with the fat cap right on top of it.
Yeah, like it's got like a massive fat cap to it. I think ideally you cut it into steaks and eat it that way. So like I don't think it's a slow cook.
Huh. That would be a question for Nick. Shout out to Nick, friend of the show. He's the meat guy.
Is it though? Because picanha might not be all that common.
Yeah, that's fair too.
No, I like again. I don't. I
I mean, I'm
think
sure he's come across it in his travels.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
No, it's again. I think generally I see people cooking it like as a steak, not as a whole, or they cook it as a whole, cut it, and maybe sear it for like a second, something like that. Because I think when it is that lean, slow cooking, it's just going to turn into fucking jerky.
Yeah. So it says the traditional preparation in Brazil is to skewer the meat and cook it over a charcoal grill with minimal seasoning. It doesn't really matter. In Brazil, the fat is retained until the steak has been cooked. So I think they cook it with the fat on and then probably cut it off after.
And if they skewer it, that means it's over an open flame type thing.
Yeah.
So that's not on grates or anything.
In the United States, however, the fat tends to be removed before preparation, unless requested by the customer. That's dumb. That just seems
What's
dumb.
the point?
Like, what's the point?
I feel like you're almost just eating shoulder at that point.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it is. It's literally the top of the ass.
Yeah. So I don't know. They got it. People swear by it. I think it's big in Texas. I think Texas likes their picanha.
Yeah, I think I've heard that.
Yeah. So I mean, I saw it. I've never seen it. I've only heard about it. Whatever.
It is apparently, according to Wikipedia, the most prized cut of meat in Brazil.
Why?
I don't know.
Is there like a law against having a ribeye or a fillet?
I don't know.
I mean, again, I like ribeyes myself, but
yeah, it's got to be something like, I just imagine it would be great. Like just cooking. I would imagine you have to go fat cap up. So like the fat just melts and dissolves and gets into it and the whole thing. Like I'm sure it's probably great. Like I said, I've never had it, but I have seen the videos.
Might also be one of those things. Like you ever see where they cut a steak, but skewer it so it's like twisted in a way? Like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They could cook it like that too.
Yeah. Huh. I feel like I'm going to go down a rabbit hole now on Instagram looking for fucking picanha.
Well, but again, it's like I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't think picanha, like if we're going to get into, quote unquote butchering.
Yeah.
Maybe you start with something you know how to cook and just, trim it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Before you start getting into like cutting steaks out of this cut of meat that you've fucking seen once.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is seems to be cut into steaks. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I found it on Instagram.
Yeah, and it's got that big fat layer, which I don't know why the fuck you would remove that.
Yeah. And then they slice it into strips the other way. So you can see the fat cap is like just the little tip of it almost looks like a rib.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know which way the grain runs.
This is a better picture of it. You can see like the fat cap is like the tip of it, and then it's just like a strip after that.
Yeah, that could be the way the grain runs or whatever.
Yeah. Huh.
Looks good though.
Yeah. I kind of want to try it now. I bet
Yeah,
you I could get it at the Meat Bar in North Attleboro. Shout out to Meat Bar.
Yeah, the only thing though with some stuff like that is you got to buy like the whole roast, so it's like you're into it
Yeah.
for £5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you gonna do with 7 pounds of picanha?
Yeah, it's like, and not for nothing, even if $5.99 a pound is like cheap,
Yeah,
it's a $30 cut that
Yeah.
you're buying.
right.
So, like,
Yeah, is it worth it?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
But I guess if you know what you're doing, then yeah, you have a decent cut for $5.99.
yeah, that's a good point. So,
Who knows? Not me.
my final thought. I was gonna do a thing on aliens, but I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna save that for when we have more time to talk about it because I think it's fascinating. I just listened to a Joe Rogan podcast where he had a guy on about aliens, but maybe in the next episode. So my actual final thought is going to be that the terminal list on Amazon Prime is absolutely fucking crushing. I think I saw something the other day. It's been over 1 billion hours of it has been watched or something like that. Let me see if I can find the post really quickly. No, I can't find it fast enough. I don't want to sit here and scroll. But I'm pretty sure the post that I saw was that the terminal list had hit over 1 billion hours streamed or something like that on Amazon Prime. So for anyone who doesn't know, the terminal list was a book. It's actually a series now, but it was a book written by Jack Carr, who's a former Navy SEAL. And it's a fiction story, but so it's not like one of those Navy SEAL guys who writes a book about like, this is what you have to do to be awesome. It's like, no, I'm going to write a fiction novel about like cool shit. So it's this guy who is a former Navy SEAL. And it's a little bit of Jason Bourne, like John Wick style meets like the Punisher, right? Like it's actually probably really similar to the Punisher. It's incredible. The books are great because Jack Carr does a really good job of like putting in specific details that are like real life. So he's friends with the guys from Black Rifle Coffee. So there's like in the book, he's like, oh yeah, and you know, James Reese is the main character. And he's like, Reese grabs his coffee or his cup of Black Rifle Coffee and like goes and does his thing. Or he talks about like Sig Sauer being like the gun manufacturer that he really likes. Like he uses real world stuff in the book. So it's pretty cool. It adds that that extra element of like realism. I love the books. I've read the first one. I haven't finished the second one, but it's great so far. The Amazon Prime series has Chris Pratt in it. And like I said, it has been absolutely crushing. Everyone loves it. People are talking about it. It's had over 1 billion hours streamed. However, because this is 2022, and this is the world that we live in, if you, on a purely like speculative level, that's a hard word for me to say. If you just go on and Google the terminal list series, like on Amazon, it has been absolutely crushed by the critics. Like, I think like the actual like quote unquote movie critics have given it no more than like 3 stars. Like a lot of them have given it 2 stars. If you read like the professional reviews, they're like, plot line's bad. It's glorifying guns. It's like all this shit. So the point I also kind of want to get at too with that is, like I said, one, I've watched it from beginning to end and it's phenomenal. I know I'm biased because I like the books and I read them. But the series is great, but also like you can't deny that it's crushing, right? Like it has over 1 billion hours that it's been streamed. So there was a little nervousness that, around getting it renewed for season 2. Because I follow Jack Carr on social media and all that stuff, and he's been on some podcasts that I listen to. Needless to say, with 1 billion hours downloaded, I think the second season is going to be okay. There's 5 books out right now, so I think there'll be, at least 5 seasons, which should be good. But how fucking dumb is that? That the quote professional movie critics are like, no, this is really bad, don't watch it. But
So
all of the regular people love it.
I just Googled it.
Yeah.
It's on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 40%, which is not good at all.
Yep.
89% of Google users like this show.
Yeah.
Go on Google and sorry, you don't use Google.
Yeah.
Say go like it, make it 89.1.
But what is did Rotten Tomatoes give the people score? Because don't they do
94.
both? Oh,
94.
There it is. There you go. So the critic score was what, 49?
39.
39%. And the people score was 94.
Shows probably almost everything you need to know.
Yeah. Everyone that watches it loves it. But the Hollywood people are like, no, don't do this. Because they talk about guns.
Should I start reading headlines?
Yes.
From Variety. The Terminal List creator denies the show is right-wing fantasy. Critics hate it because woke stuff isn't shoved into it. Fox News. Terminal List author responds to woke critics of hit show. It was made to speak to military, veterans.
There is nothing woke in it. I will say that.
Then Chris Pratt, he's been trolling some people.
So it's a combination too. We talked about that a couple weeks ago about how people just hate on Chris Pratt for no reason. So people in Hollywood hate Chris Pratt because he doesn't play by their rules. And also it's a show about a military guy that goes around and kills people, a la The Punisher.
And then a month ago, so this is where it comes from, the Daily Beast, which I don't know if that's a real thing. That and no, just that. The Terminal List is an unhinged right-wing revenge fantasy.
Yep.
And then former Navy SEAL and author of The Terminal List says critics are angry over lack of woke agenda.
Yeah.
I might have to support this now.
Yeah. Do you have Amazon Prime?
Well, I don't, but I have access to it.
Yeah. It's a fucking phenomenal show. So
I haven't been able to watch I haven't been able to watch anything though. Like, I don't know. I just can't fucking pay attention.
Yeah. So when I read the book, this was like maybe a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago. I like the way it was written, and this is why I love the books. I was so fucking into it that like my heart rate got elevated. Like I think at one point I was reading it and I looked at my Whoop. I was sitting down reading it, and my heart rate was like 100.
I don't think there's anything that could captivate my attention for that, like that. It's just, I don't think it can happen anymore. Have you watched The Boys?
No.
Okay, because everyone, it's on oh fuck me, what I think it's on Amazon Prime as well, and it's like it's not a superhero show, but it's a show about superheroes, and it's as though like they're in like regular life, and it's like, hey, they're superheroes, but they're just like really fucking shitty people. And then there's people that don't like them, so it's like they're the boys, and they're doing what they can to like kind of hunt these people down. I don't know, but like people really, really seem to like it. and I just cannot fucking pay attention to it. And I don't think it's bad. It's just I just can't pay attention to it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've never even heard of it.
I don't
I've
know.
heard of
It seems
people
like
talk about The Old Man with Jeff Bridges.
yeah, I've heard that too.
He's like a former basically the cliff notes I got of it, he's a former CIA guy with 2 badass dogs. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I've heard that's good. People have talked about The Boys. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. But again, it's like I don't think it's a bad show. I just can't pay attention to it like at all.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Whatever. I'm just an idiot.
If you do get into the terminal list, though, let me know. It's great.
We can talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I think the first episode is a little slow. But it's like it's just doing like a setup. Like they have to set up everything. So obviously for me, it was a little slower because I read the book. So I knew I know what happens. So like the whole first episode is basically like to get everyone up to speed for people that didn't read the book. Like this is this guy, this is what's going to happen. This is the whole shtick. And then we'll get into it. But it gets pretty good after the first episode. So that's that. Thanks for being with us here on good old Sarcasm Speaks. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like it, rate it, review it, leave us a comment if you would like. There was a really funny comment. I was kind of hoping to get into a battle with them, but they never responded. Some random person commented on one of the podcasts that we put up and was like, what a lame unoriginal podcast or whatever. So I commented back and was like, wow, what a lame unoriginal comment. And then they never responded. I was really hoping to get into a battle there, but leave us a comment if you want, whatever. I'll respond at some point. You can get us on Twitter at sarcasm_speaks. We're on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. The website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Go to grillyourassoff.com. Use the promo code SarcasmPod to save 10% off your order every single time you check out over there. Good for all products over there too. If you're an audio only guy, also subscribe. Remember, don't forget to do that. Don't forget to tell everybody you know about the show. Shout out to the people in Nevada that just started listening to the show. We just got our first couple downloads out there. That's kind of cool. Someone in Virginia, I think, has been binge listening to us, because there's been like a bunch of downloads in Virginia. But I think it's just one person probably. But, whatever. Shout out to all you guys, friends of the show. You come on if you want. Reach out to us. Whatever. We'll have you on. We'll have anybody on. I think that covers everything. So until next time. Good night, everybody.